Okay, we're ready. Are we ready? All right, good morning. This is a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council on Wednesday, May 16th, 2001. The council has 15 members. We meet 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, allegedly at 10 o'clock. It is now 10:28. We are being viewed on the city's cable channel, Channel 35, and we are also available by council phone, and we are about to call the roll.
Burnson, Schick, Fuhr, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Swarnich, Schwex, Walters, Galanter, 11 members present, and a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. Let's do the first item of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, the minutes are approved,
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
and those two.
Before beginning the regular agenda, there are several items to continue. Items 1 and number 2, applicant consents to a continuance to July 25th.
All right, without objection, items 1 and 2 will be continued to July 25th.
Item number 8, also request to continue to May 23rd.
And item 8 is continued. Let's see if we have any cards on these. We do have cards on item 8, so Mr. Evans, item 8 will be continued. What else?
Okay, item number 12, Councilmember Burnson, on behalf of Councilmember Burnson, request to continue that to next Tuesday, which is May 22nd.
Okay, item 12 is continued. No cards on that.
And items 15 and 17 are both REAP resolutions. Housing Department has advised that those matters can be received and filed.
All right, is there any objection to receiving and filing 15 and 17? Hearing none, they're received and filed.
On the regular agenda, items noticed for public hearing, items 3 and 4 both have ordinances. 12 council members are expected today. Do you wish to hold those?
Yes, let's hold those on the desk.
Okay. Item number 5 is also a public hearing item. It's a Planning Land Use Management Committee report.
All right, I do not have any cards on item 5. Is there anybody who wants to address us on item 5? If not, the public hearing is closed. All right, I think we might be ready to vote on item 5. That takes 10 votes, right? Yes. Okay. Everybody ready on item 5? Anybody have any comments? Open the roll. Whoops, Mr. Hernandez.
Committee report on this item.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez moved the Plum Committee report. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That's approved. It being now 10:30, which is the time announced for the special meeting, let me now announce that item 1 on the special meeting is going to be continued until May 29th, I believe. So all of you who have put in cards on item 1 on the special meeting can now have a nice relaxed day. We'll see you on May 29th. Okay, what else do we have on the regular agenda here?
On item number 6, it's a public convenience or necessity. A motion is required to grant or deny the application, and I believe Councilmember Pacheco is going to move to grant the application.
All right, we also have several people who've asked to be heard, and I believe this is a public hearing item. So we'll take the public hearing first. First is Mr. Melrose Larry Green, followed by Victor Franco, Kevin Franklin, or Steve Needleman.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Melrose Larry Green. I read through these agendas when I come down here. It's a great day today. A lot of stuff going to happen later on today. We won't talk about that right now. But this is a hearing comments relative to application for determination of public convenience or necessity for the sale of alcohol. You all know what alcohol is. For on-site consumption at the Orpheum Theater at 842 South Broadway. I'd like to know why, in heaven's name, do we have to authorize the consumption of alcohol at the Orpheum Theater on South Broadway? I'm totally against that. I'd like to hear from Councilman Pacheco, why are we about to do this? Thank you. I'm Melrose Larry Green.
Thank you. Mr. Franco?
Good morning, members of the council. My name is Victor Franco, Jr., and I'm the Deputy Director of Legislative Affairs for the Central City Association here in downtown Los Angeles. CCA represents over 300 companies and employing over 250,000 people here in Los Angeles County, and we urge your support for the liquor license for the Orpheum Theater located at 842 South Broadway here in downtown Los Angeles. CCA believes that the reopening of the Orpheum Theater will add much-needed nightlife and economic boost to the downtown historic core district, and we wholeheartedly request your support. CCA believes that Mr. Steve Needleman, has proven his commitment to the Broadway Historic District by improving, maintaining, and restoring several properties. Mr. Needleman is committed to the safe operation of his properties. In particular, we welcome Mr. Needleman's restoration of the Wurlitzer Building on Broadway, which included relighting the Broadway alley between 8th and 9th Streets, adding security gates and cameras in the parking lots, and deploying a security guard in the alley. CCA supports revitalizing nightlife along Broadway as an overall goal of creating a 24-hour downtown. We believe additional theater patrons attending Orpheum events will improve the area and result in positive effects for all the businesses in the district. As such, CCA fully supports Mr. Needleman in his efforts to obtain a full liquor license for the Orpheum Theater. We respectfully ask for your support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Franklin or Mr. Needleman? And you better tell me which one you are.
Steve Needleman, the owner of the Orpheum Theater. Very simply, after putting in major renovations into the only theater which is currently being renovated on Broadway in the historic core of downtown, in order to compete in the theater business today, in the venue business, it is absolutely imperative that you have a liquor license. This venue will not be serving liquor on a regular basis. It'll be serving liquor during the events that are appropriate. When there are church events, needless to say, and other children's events, there's no liquor being sold, like the Pantages, like every other theater that's within the Los Angeles area. It was, as we discussed, the numbers of licenses in the LA Business Journal, there's an application before the city to approve some 20-plus licenses for the Staples Center area in the future. This is making a major commitment to the downtown area and the historic core, and I urge your support. If you have any questions, feel happy to answer them for you.
Okay, let's see if we do. That closes the public hearing. Mr. Pacheco.
Madam President, I want to move approval. I agree with the presentations that have been given by CCA and Mr. Needleman. We have reviewed the application and believe that revitalizing downtown is an important part of what the direction the city needs to go in. This is one piece. We have introduced a motion to bring what's called nighttime Broadway down to the city of the historic core, so we're very excited about revitalizing downtown, and this would be one piece to give them an opportunity to succeed in this venture to bring people downtown. So I would move approval.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Open the roll on Mr. Pacheco's motion, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
There you go. That is approved. Do we need forthwith on that? Probably. Forthwith on that, please. Okay.
Madam President, there are 12 members now. Items 3 and 4 were on the desk. Those have ordinances. Do you wish to take those up now?
Yes, we also have 9 and 10, which are, and 32 are also ordinances. But we haven't got to those yet. Okay, let's do 3 and 4. Items 3 and 4, we do not have any cards. Members of the council, items 3 and 4, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Okay, what are we up to?
Item number 7 is also public convenience or necessity in Council District 7, and I need a motion to deny that without prejudice.
Okay, Mr. Padilla, did you want to make that motion?
Thank you, Madam President. Move that we deny without prejudice. The applicant has withdrawn their application.
Okay, anybody else? Open the roll on Mr. Padilla's motion, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That's approved, which means it's denied without prejudice. Next.
Next items for which public hearings have been held, items 9 through 13. Item number 12 has already been acted on.
Okay, any specials? 9, 10, 11, and 13. Seeing none, open the roll on items 9, 10, 11, and 13. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Next. Forthwith on 10. Thank you.
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 14 through 30.
Okay, I do not have any cards on any of these. Is there anybody in the audience who wants to address us on items, any of the items 14 through 30? Seeing none, the public hearings are closed. Any specials, members of the council? 14 through 30, except for 15 and 17, which we already did. Seeing none, open the roll, close, I'm sorry, 20, which one? 21, Mr. Wax. Anybody else? Okay, open the roll on 14, 16, 18 through 20, and 22 through 30. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Not used to going this fast, are we? It'll
Next-
slow down.
Next item, Madam President, on the this closed session, you wish to hold that on the desk.
Right, that's item 31.
And items 32 and 33 are on the continued agenda. Those are items for which public hearings have not been held.
Okay, I do not have any cards on either item 32 or 33 on the special agenda. It was my understanding that item 32 is going to be continued until Friday. Mr. Deaton, is that? Oh, well, Mr. Deaton, Mr. Padilla. Item 32 is going to be continued. Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Can we hold it on the desk?
Hold it on the desk. 32. Yes, I'm sorry. I had to sign.
And item 33 is a CLA presentation on the independent monitor selection.
Okay, are you prepared to do that? I see yeses, I see nos. You guys make up your mind if you're prepared to do that or not while we deal with this. Well, we're there. I mean, that's the problem.
Hold it on the desk? Is there
They
anything
do want to
else?
call it special, but we're there. There's nothing left. Oh, we could do 21 first if you prefer. Okay. Item 21 is called special by Mr. Wax. Mr. Wax? Item 21, you called it special.
I just wanted an explanation, Madam Chair.
Okay. Have we got somebody here?
If not, we can hold it until they
Sit
come.
tight. Let's see if we can find somebody. Have we got somebody here to give Mr. Wax an explanation of item 21? Doesn't sound like it.
Well, I am now, though, as I'm reading it, I'm more familiar with the details, and so I'm happy to let it go on.
Okay, hang on. Okay, item 21 is now before us. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Okay, item 21 is approved. Now, on item 33, is it 33? Which is the one, the monitor one? So, Mr. Deaton, Mr. Chaliff, we're there. If you want to do this report, Ms. Martin, you weren't there a minute ago so I didn't see you. I apologize for not including you. We're going to get you out before lunch. I know this is unexpected, but
No, yes, it is, actually. I feel obligated to give you a status report, obviously, since you've been asking for it for some time. We're deep in negotiations with the Department of Justice on trying to mutually select an independent monitor. That negotiation is going on as we speak. I wanted to let you know that if it probably is best if we could wait until Friday to discuss this so we could have a joint recommendation. However, I did not want to postpone this any further if that wasn't the case. It's if you did not want to do that. We have to go to court on Monday and report to the judge. We, I think, are very close to a an agreement between us and the Department of Justice on who would be an appropriate person that we could both recommend to the court and recommend to you on Friday. I'm not in a position to do that today. We could discuss who has bid and et cetera. I have to caution you that probably isn't would probably not be the best thing for our negotiations with the Department of Justice at this point in time. However, I wanted to come back to you and give you that option. My recommendation is you continue this to Friday.
Okay, you think we're going to be in a better position on Friday to?
I would certainly hope so. I think we're very close. We have some very crucial issues that we believe have to be addressed by the monitor. We want to, and we either will have that, we have the entire team here, I hesitate to say anxiously willing to discuss this, but they are willing to discuss this. But we think it'd be beneficial to all concerned if we waited till Friday. However, I wanted to give that option to the council.
Now, I mean, is Friday long enough, or do we need to wait till
No,
Tuesday?
Monday we have to go.
We are back and...
Time will not help this. We have
Okay.
got to get, we have to get ourselves in agreement, and if we postpone this, even with the court another month, it would not be beneficial to anybody involved. Friday is going to be it. We'll come in with number one, and we'll come in with number two. We're going to come in with a recommended number one. We'll have whether we have the actual contract, we will not have the contract, but we'll have the contract on Tuesday.
Okay, Ms. Walters.
You said time is not on our side, so why don't we vote for it today instead of waiting until
Because we haven't got, I haven't got agreement. What I'm saying is if you give us time, we'll take it, it appears.
Okay, and you want the time.
And I want only Friday. What I'm saying is that
Right,
the
you want
president
the
suggested, but I don't want any longer than Friday, because if
Okay.
we have longer than Friday, we've demonstrated that on both sides we'll take it.
Okay,
And it's showdown time on Friday.
all right. Well, I just didn't know whether
It was
doing
close
it
to being.
today would...
Well, I was close to being showdown time today, but the city attorney, as you can see, is on the phone right now to the Department of Justice, negotiating
I
away.
can't see the Department of Justice.
He's in Washington. And they're in, we have a few remaining items that we can't seem to, we're very close, but I would recommend we wait till Friday, and if that's okay with you, then we would appreciate the time.
Ms. Chick.
Two questions. In terms of what we're all hoping is coming soon, a contract, a choice and a contract, regarding the contract, what role does the council play in determining the dollar amount on the contract? What role, if any? And the second question, do you know if you'll be coming back with a single recommendation or a short list?
Taking the last one first, we'll be coming back with a very definite recommendation, and one in which this is the plan that we will be coming.
This is the team, this is the plan?
This is the, well, the city team is in total accord, and we're just trying to work out some differences between us and the Department of Justice. But the intent under the consent decree
I'm
was,
asking about
the consent decree is that the first step in the process is for the Department of Justice and us to agree, the city to agree. That's what we're attempting to do. If this fails, then the process under the consent decree is that the city would submit to the judge 2, and they would submit 2. And for a variety of reasons, I think that isn't a good situation. So Friday, we're hoping that we will be providing to the council a recommendation that the Department of Justice agrees with. We will also be providing, that's the one, we will also be providing who we considered number 2, whether the Department of Justice considered them number 2 or not is another issue. And we will, although we will not have the final contract, We'll have the contract back to council next week. Second thing, it's conceivable we could have one by Friday, but nonetheless, on the cost situation, the cost is you're going to be given what they bid. And we're trying to cap it as best we can within the constraints of what we are. But the dollar amount is what has been bid.
And that's what will be communicated to us?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
And the ad hoc budget committee, I believe, has provided enough money even for all that to be handled.
Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Deaton, maybe you can explain to me if the council has a role here. Because it seems to me that you are just basically going to provide us a recommendation as to who the negotiating team agreed should be the monitor and a contract. What's the role of the council? Because my understanding is that the media and our constituents hold us accountable. I'm kind of disturbed, and you know, for the record, this council member has been told nothing about the team that's being selected. And I think that's the case with the rest of us. This council member is not aware of the negotiations that have been ongoing and the kind of team that is being put together. And the role of that team. Every time we've asked the questions, we've gotten the kinds of answers we received today. And I just want that for the record because I won't be here, but I think it's important that that be understood. So what role do you envision the council playing in this process? Do you believe we'll just be a rubber stamp, or what is the role we are playing?
Well, let me just explain the process, and I understand partially the reason I wanted this discussion today is that the council directed, in the council action was the mayor's office and my office to go out to RFP and consider all these and come back with a recommendation on a contract. Midstream in that process, you also...
Mr. Deaton, I understood the council to direct, and I could be corrected because last time around you made a statement like that and it wasn't true. What the council directed was you to bring us two choices.
What, if I was going to say, the council did as I just stated some time ago. Subsequent to that, we went out to request for proposal. We had 19 proposals, the names of which were released. We're in the process of determining what those, which was the appropriate recommendation. In subsequent to those, the RFP process being in process, the council acted to say that when you come in with your recommended number one, we would also like to know what your number two is. And that was reiterated in your last meeting on when you had this discussion. And as I stated earlier, I will bring forward on Friday the contractor that we have agreed with DOJ and the terms and conditions that we have agreed to following the first action of the council. And we will also bring to you what we consider number two.
So, but the council can select number two.
Be aware that the council can select number two. The difficulty with selecting number two is that at this point in time, the Department of Justice may not agree with number two.
Right.
If that's the case,
but you should be aware that the council could select number two.
Absolutely. And if the council selects somebody or the city selects somebody that the Department of Justice doesn't agree with, we're in that other approach to selection of the monitor that I discussed before, which is the council or the city would submit to the judge two names and to the judge, and the Department of Justice would do likewise, and the judge would select. There are and we can discuss it at that point in time if you don't like our recommendation number one, why I think that might not be the best approach, but we'll
Right, but
deal with that.
Justice would submit two names to the judge.
That's right.
Would we know what two names they're going to submit?
No. Not necessarily. I can probably tell you who they wouldn't.
And Mr. Deaton, and again, I've deferred to you a lot on the council floor, and you need to understand that I trust you, and that's why I've done that. However, on this one, I do feel that I'm not being given any choices. And I won't be able to answer that until Friday.
Understand.
But I'm also being told just a few days before our contract's due. And my understanding, there have been many votes on this council taken where I was a no vote. I kind of say that because I know there are 2 no votes automatically on this council because there's 2 vacancies. I just think that the more informed the council was as to this process, the easier it would be to get that consensus.
Okay.
I agree. I'm not.
Mr. Wax.
Mr. Hernandez, you're not being given a choice. One of the tried and true tactics or methodologies here is to wait to the last minute and then say, this is it, and we got to have it today, take it, or in essence, it's take it or leave it. And I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with it because we've never discussed the criteria by which, what are we looking for? What are things that would disqualify people from consideration? What are the factors? What are the strengths and weaknesses? You can X out the names. I don't really care who the individuals are initially as much as I do. What are we looking for? What are the strengths that we want? What are the things that would disqualify people from consideration in our view and in the Justice Department's? Another thing you get by a process that's open is that once names are out there, you begin to get feedback. All we're going to get, Mike, is what they tell us on Friday, take it or leave it. We don't know if the broader community that has interest in this are going to have input on these people. You learn things when things are out in the public. People come forward. You have time to study their records. You have time to listen to what people say or not say about them. We are going to abrogate all of our ability to make the kind of they've been doing it for a year. And we're going to be given an hour, take it or leave it, the judge wants it on Monday. I'm probably about to tell you now, Mr. Deaton, that I'm not going to vote for anyone under those circumstances because it's a flawed process.
Ms. Mizikowski.
Members of the council, when we normally do RFPs, not for this, but when we normally do RFPs, it is the responsibility of a department to consider the RFPs, rate them, rank them, bring them back, and we generally get here the recommendation. It's one. It's out there. There's a lot of other proposers who come and testify and say, don't select number 1, select number 2. We think there was something flawed in the process. We have always only gotten one recommendation. This time, although we started that way and asked for our team to bring back a recommendation with the consensus of DOJ, the council, because of these concerns, said, well, let's have a little of this discussion, bring back who else you are recommending. And for any number of reasons, we are not just dealing with sort of a general manager or a 3-way general manager situation with the city's team. We have the mayor's office represented, the police commission, the CLA representing the council. We also have the Department of Justice. And for those who might feel frustrated with this process, we know who those names are. We know who the names are because they were published in the paper shortly after they were all submitted, which normally would have been private because there was a Freedom of Information request and they were out there. We have it, and it was submitted the last time this was on our agenda when we got the report to the judge who asked for the same 19 proposers. We've known them, they are out there. If we choose not to accept the recommendation, and the group that will be recommended to us may not be our city team's number 1 recommendation, but they may tell us that their number 1 recommendation was in no way going to be accepted by the Department of Justice. And they may tell us that the Department of Justice's number 1 recommendation was not acceptable to them. So those two have been negotiating the way attorneys do in terms of coming to some agreement. If we are not satisfied that we are moving forward with something that DOJ and our team and the contract specifies who they are, what they will do, how they will do it, at what price, with DOJ's consent, remember this is a DOJ-initiated process, then we have the right to say that's not acceptable. We are going to pick our 2 as the team will recommend, and we will digest and we will debate, and DOJ will recommend 2. probably very different ones, and then it is completely out of our hands, other than we put our choices there. But I think that we ought to give this a chance. As we've heard, our team has been very, very firm, and this is a team that throughout the process had not been collectively on the same page throughout. That they are together at this point has said that there has been some evolution, granted that we've not all been a part of, but that it has been a part of a city recommendation. And I think we ought to wait till Friday, hear their presentation, and Mr. Deaton wants to interrupt me.
Well, let me,
Time while he interrupts you. All 8 seconds of it. Go ahead. Ron? You're next. Well, he's
Ron wanted
responding
to interject something.
I understand that. Did he
Well-
press his button yet, Madam?
He's on Cindy's time.
All right.
that's okay. I just wanted to, we reported, I just want to respond to a couple things. One is that the attributes that we looked for were ones that were approved by the Department of Justice and the City of Los Angeles in the adoption of the consent decree, and they are as follows. A team that possesses...
Okay, wait. Before you read them, let me make sure the 2 people who asked about
Yes.
the criteria are actually listening to this.
Joel, this is the criteria that by which we agreed to select.
It was in the consent decree. Possess law enforcement expertise, monitoring experience, clear methods of effectively obtaining information while minimizing the impacts on LAPD operations, coordinating and communicating with the city and the Department of Justice, and an objective, unbiased, and comprehensive methodology, and an established independence and understanding of the scope of the Los Angeles Police Department's consent decree. For the record, there are 2 firms, 1 and 2 without ranking those 2 firms. Kroll Associates, a New York firm, Public Management Resources, and a firm based in San Antonio, Texas, are the 2 firms that we are considering. And we can take that. Both of those firms have had experience in monitoring a consent decree. The one in San Antonio is the monitor for the Pittsburgh Police Department one and the New Jersey State Police one. And in the case of Kroll, they handled the monitoring of the consent decree relative to the elections for the Teamsters Union. We think both of them have qualifications, and there are the 2 firms that we are looking at and have been looking at for some time. We will have a final recommendation on Friday on which one we will agree with the Department of Justice.
Okay, Cindy,
May I just suggest at the end of my time that the council clear its calendar on Friday so that as this comes in, we can ask the kind of questions, the details of why this one, what the others were, why, without naming names, what the qualities here that caused us to promote them, what else we were suggesting, as well as what we would do if the council doesn't agree with that recommendation, and who we would recommend if we decide to go to the judge and take the separate course.
We'll be happy to discuss that on Friday.
Okay, Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Madam President, it is very difficult to overcome the arguments made by both Mr. Hernandez and Mr. Wax. And I have paid enough attention to the discussion to recognize what it is Ms. Zukowski is attempting to do. It seems to me that we ought to prepare for the distinct possibility and even the eventuality that this body will not be able to move an action on Friday. In light of that distinct possibility, it would seem to me that we should begin to plan now to ask for, and I think this would need to be formally done potentially, an additional amount of time for us to do what we need to do, rather than be faced with the inability to move this out of council on Friday and failed to meet what needs to be met on Monday. And so, Madam President, I would ask, and Madam Chair of the committee, I would ask whether or not a motion would be in order to instruct the staff to seek, per council request, an additional amount of time, be that 10 days or whatever the case may be, so that we can make the kind of decision that we need to make without it further tying our hands if, in fact, we are unable to act on Friday.
If you don't act on Friday, you can instruct the city attorney to file with the court Friday afternoon. The response would be on Monday, so you can file such a motion on Friday, such a request on Friday with the court.
Yeah, I think we just need to think now about what our options are rather than be faced with less options on Friday and or Monday. And Ms. Miskowski, I was directing that in part to you.
I think we can ask the staff to present to us not only their recommendations, but the options for what choices and courses we have if we choose not to go with their recommendation.
Well, let's not assume that we
That's right.
can't make a
but
decision
the
on
option-
Friday.
the
Let's-
option-
I
Well-
understand that you're talking about if we can't, but...
Yes, I'm
but-
not assuming that. I don't think I'm assuming that, Madam President. What I am attempting to do is say, if in fact we arrive at that point,
Right.
today being Wednesday, it might be best to begin to figure out
Right.
how we don't box ourselves.
No,
in
no,
a
no, I
corner.
agree. I
Yeah.
just want to caution us not to be so focused on the notion that we're not going to on Friday, because maybe we will. Hold on. Did you want to...
I just want to clarify one thing on the two individuals. We're really looking at the individuals involved. In both cases, the nature of the team may change as opposed to what was originally bid. So there may be different expertise that may be added or adjusted in their proposals that we'll be considering on Friday.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Deaton, I think Councilmember Miskowski said it well when she said it's like two attorneys negotiating with each other. The problem is usually when attorneys are negotiating with each other, they have to keep their clients abreast of those negotiations. You know, I don't have a problem with putting on the table, and I don't know either one of these firms. One of my primary concerns about this consent decree is the ability to work in immigrant communities, the ability to monitor the kinds of issues that have erupted with the police department in terms of its credibility in much of the district that I represent. And I have no concept of this firm's background in those areas. Dealing with, I mean, I deal with cultural differences on a daily basis in my district. And many times it seemed that those were not issues of when we were dealing with them, when we were dealing with the consent decree, there were things that I had to continue to bring up. And you need to understand that from the time I first got elected to office to today, I think that those have been things I've had to continue to bring up. And even the police department, when it looked at its Special Rule 40, and the fact that there was another rule that was passed that basically undid Special Rule 40 and never made us aware of it. And so how the police department operated with other agencies was issues of concern. And so those are the things, that's kind of the background I want to know. And I haven't been, again, none of us have been made aware of those kinds of issues. So I'm hoping that on Friday, that kind of dialogue can happen.
That's fine.
And I'm saying it up front because I feel that we're here for a reason. None of us wanted to be here, but this is where we're at. And I know that you guys have been negotiating very closely on those kinds of issues. I just don't know if those were part of those discussions with the proposed monitor. And that's why I made the statements I've made. So I'm looking forward to Friday. Hopefully I'll get some of those answers.
Two things, Mr. Hernandez. One is that I think that there's been nothing that we've looked at more than how what is the criteria for the city to be sure that the city is in fact complying? What are the factors and what is the methodology that's going to be used and the sensitivity of that methodology to getting us through and accomplishing what is in that consent decree? And the second thing is that I'll look forward to meetings that only have 2 lawyers in the room.
I can understand that part.
Okay, so the last I heard, we had a motion to continue this till Friday, and unless I hear something else, open the roll on continuing this till Friday, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Good, that's done. Okay, item 20 should go forthwith, please. We've already acted on that. And item 32 is still before us. Sorry? 31 is a closed session. We haven't got to that yet. 32, but it is still before us, you're right. Okay, item 32 is now before us. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith, Mr. Padilla? You want forthwith on 32? Forthwith, please. Okay, that, I believe, brings us to public comment. This is the time for comments on items within the council's purview, but not on today's agenda. And we have so far only one card, Mr. Melrose Larry Green.
Thank you, President Hernan. This is perfect timing. I am Melrose Larry Green, and I'm here to speak to all of you that are watching on TV. Good morning, Joel Wax. Stay in the good fight. That's my advice to you. I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm here to speak about 2 issues, 2 discrete issues which have nothing to do with the mayor's race, but they have to do with the 2 things that I'm going to be very involved in the next year in the city of Los Angeles. One of these issues is driving while you're talking on the cell phone, and the other issue is people running red lights in the city of Los Angeles. Now, recently, the great governor of New York, Mr. George Pataki, has introduced a bill to outlaw driving while you're talking on the cell phone in the state of New York. My home county of Nassau and Suffolk counties in New York and Westchester County have already outlawed it. There are over 4,000 accidents a day caused by people that are distracted by either CD players, phones, eating, shaving, what have you. I would like the city council to take the lead by passing an ordinance outlawing driving while you're on the cell phone. I don't care if it's hands-free or not hands-free. And I'm going to start from ground zero. I'm going to talk to lobbyists and everything else they have to do to get laws passed. I've got a website called melroselarry.com. That's melroselarry.com. And any of you that are interested in helping me in this fight to outlaw talking while you're on the cell phone and driving, you can email me. The second thing is I see people all day long, Councilman Galanza, running red lights. I hate to say it, but we don't have enough cops or enough cameras to do it. I would like the city council to set up a civilian force, and I volunteer to be the first member of this force. I'd like to be deputized by the LAPD and Department of Transportation with the authority to write down the numbers and take photographs of people that are running red lights. I'm not talking about near yellow or near red. I'm talking about red, out and out red. People die that way. So those are the 2 issues. I welcome the cooperation of all the outgoing members from City Council, and I hope that we get that fella from the 5th District in here, whom I like very much from the old days. Thank you very much. I'm Melrose Larry Green.
Thank
now
you.
for bigger and better things downstairs.
Thank you. That closes the public comment period, and I believe we are ready to go into closed session for item 31, which means that all of you who are not involved in the closed session will please depart. Don't take it personally, but it has to be done. And while we are clearing the room for the closed session, let's do the housekeeping.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, they are posted and
That
referred.
clears the desk for closed session.
Okay, as soon as we're ready to do closed session, we're Okay, we're back. Item 31.
It's a settlement in the case of Brian Haygood versus City of Los Angeles in the amount of $500,000, and the city will accept $275,000 in payment.
So the net result is $225,000 cost to the city. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that, please. And that, I believe, brings us to...
That clears the desk.
Adjourning motions. Do we have adjourning motions? We do. Okay. Anybody over here? Mr. Savornich.
Madam President, members of the council, I would like to ask the council adjourn in memory of Elizabeth Wentworth, who recently passed away at the age of 84. She is the mother of Harbor Commission President John Wentworth.
I'd like to be a co-presenter.
She was survived. She is survived by a loving family, and we would like to extend our sympathies to the Harbor Commission President and the extended family.
Ms. Mizikowski.
I would like to ask the council to adjourn in the memory of John C. Gerard, former general manager, chief engineer of the LA Fire Department, who passed away on Friday in Leesburg, Virginia. John was the chief, joined this LA Fire Department in 1953, serving for 29 years before he retired as chief engineer in 1982. He, in 1973, as a battalion chief, had been awarded LA Fire Department's Medal of Valor for his actions at a tunnel explosion and fire in the community of Sylmar, where he personally led 2 search and recovery operations amidst fire and poisonous gas with a limited supply of oxygen. He served as the city's fire marshal before becoming its highest-ranking official in 1977. During that time, he helped lead the agency through several monumental blazes, including the Mandeville Canyon Fire of 1978 and the Kirkwood Bowl Fire in 1979. He had been a former resident of Playa del Rey and Huntington Beach, and he is survived by his wife Stacy, his former wife Doris, his children Teresa, Kathleen, and Mark, his stepson Andrew, and his grandchildren Jessica, Matthew, Megan, Alexander, and Maxwell. In lieu of flowers, donations are requested by the family to the Widows, Orphans, and Disabled Firemen's Fund here in Los Angeles.
I think all members on that one. Anybody else? Call the roll. Thank you. We are adjourned. See you on Friday.